Good day, everyone. I'm Andrea Leiby, your host for today's webinar, Unlock the Potential of Your Survey Data, an Introduction to ctOS Analyzer. On behalf of Crosstab, thank you for your interest in this topic, and we hope you'll find your time with us today worthwhile. Before we get started, I want to review a few housekeeping items and let you know how you can participate in today's session. You have joined today's webinar with audio through your computer speaker system by default. I've muted all attendees so everyone will just be listening today. If you experience any technical issues or would like to ask a question in private, please message me directly through the chat pane. At the end of the presentation, we'll do a brief Q&A session and take as many questions as we have time for. You have the ability to ask questions using your questions pane. Simply type your question and click Send. Crosstab is a leading marketing services and market research outsourcing company that offers a full range of market research operations, marketing services, and data analytics solutions to global clients combined with a strong technology and process orientation. Your presenter today is Prasanth Reddy, Vice President of Technology Solutions. Prasanth leads Crosstab's Technology and Innovation Group and has over 12 years of experience in the market research industry, specializing in building advanced software solutions. Before joining Crosstab, he worked with several global research companies in the area of application design and development. Over the course of his career, Prasanth has built several reputable solutions for the research industry, ranging from data collection platforms to reporting and data management solutions. The floor is all yours, Prasanth.
Great. Thanks, Andrea. Hello all. Thanks for joining us today. We have a very interesting topic to discuss with you today. So the core focus of this session will be around survey data, data management, and some efficiencies that we could build using efficient data management. And in the process, we'll look at our newest solution from the ctOS suite of applications, Analyzer. And in this session, we'll also try to look at different approaches of data management, different practices that we currently see in the industry, and also try to evaluate these from different perspectives to measure the efficiency and to really evaluate different models to see how they contribute on a day-to-day basis to different efficiencies of our business process. And we'll have hope you'll find this session informative. Let's take a quick look at how data has been changing over the past decade. As we all know, the online methodology has really given us such an access to the research audience where we can do more and more studies, collect more data with much ease. This obviously has resulted in an exponential rise in data volumes. And we have at least seen 4 times increase year on year in terms of the sheer volume of data being collected. Not just the data volume, it is also the complexity that we are seeing rising day to day. Complexity in terms of when more in-depth interviews are conducted, more data is collected, more variables, and obviously a deeper hierarchy in terms of data. So as the volume and complexity increases, so does the need for information integration, because you're collecting data from different sources, you have data coming in different formats, and there is a very efficient and important need in terms of integrating this data into kind of producing this 360-degree view of the entire data set. So the information integration, obviously, although it has been we've been talking around about this quite a lot, the efficiency. If we look at the efficiency of information integration, we're I think as an industry quite low in efficiently integrating data. And all this has to be obviously done with the speed, with a quicker turnaround time, and then this is a demand we have been seeing consistently from most of our clients. So to sum it up, these changes or these different ways of really dealing with data requires a very efficient data management system that can contribute to really, handling your increasing data volumes, data complexity, and also all this, packaged together with this quicker, faster turnaround time in terms of reporting and analysis has been, has been the topic for quite some years now. So let's spend some time in looking at the conventional approach in terms of data management. So we collect data from different sources, different geographies. It comes in, again, through different methodologies, and it is typically packaged in one of these file formats, either it is Excel, SPSS, or ASCII files, or any of the file formats. And then we produce ad hoc reports and insights out of this data that is being collected, and then it is packaged as files and then placed in file archives. So when I mean file archives, it can be anything like we have a server full of files, an FTP location, or a tape drive, and then and we might have all seen such humongous archives having several levels of directories and handling quite an amount of data. So is this the most efficient way of storing research data? Although we have generated and extracted the insights out of this data, certainly this data has to live longer and contribute to a better insight generation by integrating it with other data sets from other sources, from other studies, or even cross-industry references sometimes. So what's wrong with this archives? Can we really integrate the data with such efficiency? It's quite inefficient to manage data this way. Obviously, the first reason being there is a big threat of making wrong or weak linkages between data. So we are storing data as files and not as information. Obviously, it is not in a ready-to-report format, so it is just sitting on a file archive and really not in a format that can be easily accessible. So when I say linkages, I'm talking about the linkages between different variables inside a data set, or the linkages between data sets themselves. It can be tracker data, it can be ad hoc data, all the data belong to one client. So when we take all these relationships between different data sets we collect, it is very important to maintain in-depth linkages to really make sense of this data. Then the second and then very obvious disadvantage of having data in files is the shelf life of data, where we typically use data sets for say 5 or 6 waves in case of trackers, report it out, and then there it sits. And just because it is a pain to dig into the file archives, pull out the old data and kind of report it out, we limit ourselves to reporting trends to say the previous 10 years, 8 years, or even less in some cases. So this in a way is kind of reducing the shelf life of this valuable data that we collect. And searching through these humongous file archives is a nightmare. We might have experienced this at some point or the other when an ad hoc request comes from one of the clients and say, hey, pull out this data, integrate with this, throw me an ad hoc report. And just to find the right data, it takes half of your time that you have set aside for making this report. So, and at the end of the day, do we find the right data and we without any iterative approach? No. So we always end up finding wrong data or losing some data, and really spending a lot of time in just finding what we need. And once we find it, really retrieving selective parts of these data sets, say you want to retrieve a subset of the data set, some 10 questions from an ad hoc study and 5 questions from 4 waves of different tracker studies. So this is increasingly painful as the number of studies increases, because you need to literally load these files into some software, pull out the questions, and then package it into a file and then take it for your reporting purposes. So just revisiting all these, we obviously I think at some point or the other we have experienced this pain of storing data in file archives. So just to depict the complexity and the weak linkages that this kind of file format or literally storing in files. So you can see we have just depicted a big bunch of studies with some weak linkages that we achieved through naming, file naming or folder naming, and then really maybe separating them out into different archives. So this is quite haphazard, and the linkages doesn't really mean anything more than simple, something indicates a time, something indicates a subgroup of respondents, something indicates a tracker. So can't this be transformed into a more efficient format? Certainly yes. We have seen the kind of advanced database management systems in the market today. Using some database system, say we port all these files into a database and kind of build a database of questions and answers. At the end of the day, that's what it is. But again, there are a lot of questions around this to kind of, is it fast? Is it searchable? Is it how easy to scale it up? And is there a limitation on the size of the database it holds? So a lot of questions around a straightforward database implementation. So CrossTab has been experimenting with a lot of databases and developing a lot of data models to kind of find out the most optimal model that can really store research data, all formats of data, whatever be the complexity, whatever be the variable size. So what we have come up with is really the most advanced data warehouse solution out there, and which is specifically built for the MR industry. We call it the Analyzer. So it is a part of our CrossTab Optimizer suite. And let's look at in a nutshell what this is, and then kind of go through a few screens and then see how it can really answer some of the problems that we've seen with the conventional file management. So this is a 3-layered solution, which is having the core data warehouse in the backend. Then there is an intuitive search interface. Then there is a do-it-yourself reporting platform attached with it. So it is the data warehouse is built to scale. You can really add terabytes of data to this warehouse, and it still is very fast, very quick in retrieving any data for you at any time. So search becomes very fast, and it is due to the efficient data structure that holds all this data. So which comes, which we call again, although it is called the data warehouse, we have built in a lot of components that will really enhance the core data warehousing functionality. So for example, the data taxonomy definitions. So we have developed a very intuitive way of really defining this data taxonomy to really kind of simulate the experience of having a single data set on on your, say, SPSS or any standalone reporting solutions. So whenever you are dealing with data sets, it is always stored in a very quick to access format, and the taxonomy is defined in such a way that all the relationships in the data are kind of covered. I'm sorry about that. There was some disturbance in this. Okay. So talking about data taxonomy, this is the this is organized in a very logical way to really bring out those insightful data linkages. Then all this storage, search, retrieval is linked to an intuitive and easy reporting interface that we'll be seeing shortly. And the analyzer is hosted on tier 1 US servers, which is on the cloud. It is always accessible anywhere, anytime. Great. So you might remember this slide. Some time back we've seen this to really transform this arrangement of data into a schema which is more efficient. Just transforming that and overlaying it with a couple of linkages. So what you see is a very organized, very efficient, and very linked data set, which is linked across industries, across geographies, and across any metadata that you can think of. So all this is possible through Analyzer just because of the robust data structure behind this, and also when we upload this data, we follow a certain process to unearth all these linkages and upload data in such a way and tag it with so much of metadata that it all makes sense when you search through it. So you can find any kind of data sets. You can find linkages between data sets, linkages between variables, across waves, across data sets, and irrespective of what it is, your search interface will yield you results that you're looking for. So how do we really build such a taxonomy? How do we really ensure that the linkages are kind of strong, they are kind of established in the right way? So there is a three-step process that we follow. The data sets that we get from our clients are kind of prepared. The data set can be in any of the file formats we use today. It can be SPSS, ASCII, Excel, or any format. So we kind of do a small reformatting exercise to prepare this data and then convert it into a proprietary format and upload it onto the system. And when we upload the data set, the system determines some of the variables. It kind of auto links some variables, and also we do a manual linkage as per the client specification to really group the variables, to kind of link all this metadata together. And we attach this metadata. When I talk about metadata, it can be anything about the data set. It can be the fielding dates, it can be the wave number, it can be the geography, it can be the target set, it can be the industry, the end client, anything that associates with this data. So we do all those linkages and then ultimately store it in this data warehouse format. So this optimal storage definition helps us in really enabling this faster search and retrieval. So let's switch to the application and see an example of how we actually upload the data. Although I'll not be taking you through the entire process, we'll see in short few screens what are the typical steps that we follow. So as I mentioned, you're seeing the data upload interface of the Analyzer platform. Typically the upload would be done by us. So you can see different details that are being associated with the data set here. So the first tab here is the survey information, the basic metadata related to or info related to a data set. You have study period, the type of survey, tracker study, predecessor in terms of, if it is a tracker, what was the previous wave, and a whole lot of things. You can, and the most interesting part is associating text tags to this data set. So you can associate a lot of tags, any number of tags, and this is the geography where you can associate it to some geographies. And this survey information is not limited to these fields. We can generate a whole lot of them depending on your need. So we have identified around 100 to 150 different variables for different clients based on their usage. So let's move on to the next area, which is identifying the variables. This is a step which actually tries to identify some control variables which the system needs to build this warehouse. One of it is the respondent ID. You can just drag and drop that there, and I can drag and drop the country variable there. Okay, and I can drag and drop the weight there. So what I've done here is really identified those control variables that I need to associate with in order to really define the warehouse, the start of the warehouse. Then the other two steps here will not be going through the details here, but the next step is grouping of questions, where you can group different variables into groups like demographics. It can be key metrics, it can be your segmentation variables, or a whole lot of groups can be created. The fourth and final step is identifying the facts and dimensions in your data set, which actually defines the filters, the hierarchy, the taxonomy of the entire data set. So this is a typical upload process, although this metadata is not limited to this. It can be scaled to anything that you would prefer. So going back, the next thing we'll be seeing is the search and retrieval capabilities. So now that you've seen how to upload this data, stored it, and built the warehouse, so you can keep on uploading these data sets as you collect data. What kind of search is possible? So we can search by the names of the data sets, we can search by the tags, you can search by the timelines. It can be even the questionnaire keywords. So even if you want to find which question has been asked in what study, just search by brand, just search by some answer stuff. You can do that by entering those keywords in the search interface. And once you search and find your data, it is very easy to selectively pick some variables you might need. And it can be, say, 10 questions from one data set, 5 questions from something else, and select all of them and then dump it into one of the file, say SPSS files. You can do that quite easily. So let me again demonstrate that with in the application. Okay. So what you see here is the search interface. It is again dynamically scalable, so you can add as many filters as possible. You can build these filters. So all these filters are obviously based on the metadata we have tagged. So let's take a scenario. Say I want to search all consumer research, or say consumer feedback studies. I will enter that. It it is one of the tags that I associated this with. And so what it does is it searches through the warehouse, and you can see on the right hand side it has found the studies associated with my tag consumer feedback. So it has found quite a bit of studies, and say I want to narrow this down by filtering it using some question keywords. So you can see some restaurant studies on the right hand side in the search results. Say I want to search for McDonald's and click search. So now this combines the results by applying the tag consumer feedback, as well as it searches for McDonald's and found me 3 studies where this was found, this brand was found. Say I want to add more brands to it, I just add TGI, click search, and now my search is expanded. So you can see on the right hand pane there are more studies added, there are more questions that are being shown. So like this you can kind of grow your search and really expand it or narrow it down and find what you need. So once you found your studies, so you can selectively pick and choose what questions you need. Let's say, let me remove all these. I can just select one or more, and what I can do is I can download this data into an SPSS file. So there is an option to either dump all this into one single SPSS file where the variable naming conventions are kind of adjusted based on the study name and study number, or you can just download different studies into different SPSS files. So all this is very smooth, very fast, and you can find data from terabytes of survey data within no time. So once you extract the data and initiate the download, you can see it in the downloads area. You can actually pick. You can see some of the files that I have initiated earlier. So yeah, so that's about the search interface. I mean, you've seen we have made it very user friendly, and you can it has no learning curve. Absolutely, you just log in and get going with using this tool. The next and probably the most important section is the do-it-yourself analysis and reporting capabilities. Now that you have organized the data, you know how to search it, you can find your data. You have already seen that you can package the search results into an SPSS file and take it for an offline processing. But you don't need to actually really do that unless you're doing some very advanced statistical analysis on your data, because Analyzer provides you all those capabilities. So if we look at some of the important reporting capabilities, we have trend analysis, we have cross tabulations. You can basically build several cross tabulations by just dragging and dropping questions. You can build your banner. We'll see all these shortly. And then also we support around 15 different chart types, the data visualizations, to really get that the views all mapped out, and you can perform significance tests on the data, and all this can be exported to an Excel, PowerPoint, or an image. So you can actually create your own templates, upload those templates, and then when you upload these charts or reports you created, they are uploaded in your template. So let's quickly again switch over to the application and see some examples of these reports you can produce. So once you produce these reports, it's not just that you can keep them on files. Again, you can actually publish dashboards, and you can share those dashboards with your clients or for internal consumption. So what you see here on my screen is a sample dashboard that was created. and all this front end is connected to the data warehouse, and all this analysis, all these reports are produced on raw data. When I say raw data, it is cleaned, weighted raw data. So you can apply weights, you can apply all the standard process to produce these reports. So you can see the charts that I have created here. I can just move them around. I can really configure the look and feel the way I want. I can configure the colors. I can export these. I can annotate these, and then do a bunch of operations on the dashboard. So if I minimize this, you can see some more dashboard tabs here, which are kind of pre-populated. These are mostly generated by the users. So you can create as many dashboards as you want and set up these charts or tables depending on the views you want. Let me quickly show you how to create a simple report, and then we kind of go into cross-tabulation. You can see all the pre-created reports here. There is a full frequency report that you can expand and see to convert all questions in one shot if you want to really convert them into some charts, or do a quick frequency analysis. You can do that, or you can see a lot of other custom reports that I have generated. I can change my visualizations and pretty much do a lot of quick changes here. So I've changed it to the grouped bar chart now. I want to report it on percentages. It gets changed. And if I have a filter application right here, so I can apply filters to individual charts and reports that I created. Say I apply females base here, and this chart gets updated and filtered by the female audience. I can even apply these bases on my dashboards. So say I have this dashboard that I have here. I can go to the base selection. So all these filters can be created by the users, or we can create them for you from the backend. So I can apply this, and it quickly changes. So it is quite smooth, quite easy to use when when you really have a preset of filters. You can actually build these point of view dashboards to see the key metrics from different target audiences. And let me quickly show you how to set up a trend report. Trend report is very easy to set up, and it is quite logical and quite automated because of the linkages we created. You don't need to really define the order of the waves. You don't need to really define anything. So it auto detects your variables across your tracker studies. So let me quickly search for a question and say I drag and drop that here. So you can also do all the standard grouping of the answer stubs. You can create subgroups, you can create top two boxes, bottom two boxes, all that using this drag and drop interface. But let me quickly show you setting up trend. I've clicked set up trend, and what you see is it detected this question all across the 4 wave studies I had. It is possible again because of these linkages we created. This is a pretty straightforward linkage to kind of use variable name across the data sets and detect it. So even deeper linkages can be created by kind of really tweaking the data taxonomy. So yeah, so if it doesn't really detect a question, it obviously asks for a manual intervention so that you can go and find the right choice for it and produce a trend report. So it's as easy as this. You can create trends on single questions, combine different questions, or create a cross tab and then trend it out. All that operations are quite easy to do. The last thing I'll be demonstrating to you today is the cross tabulation creation, again, it works pretty much in a similar way. Let me choose this age question for my banner, and drag and drop, and say I use my ethnic background also. So I can edit my cross tabs here, so I can remove some of the columns, I can remove some of the questions, and really edit it the way you want. And let me add one more question here, say eating habits. And I can produce this cross tabulation either by applying weights or by just producing it without weights. So once I build my cross tab, I can just save it with some name, and instantly you have a cross tab generated here. So you can expand the cross tab to see the table. You can quickly switch to full screen, see it by percentages, and you can apply significance tests on it. So I have applied a significance test, and you can see the results. Or I can convert this table into a chart. You know, again, a lot of visualizations. You can really apply. You have basically all the freedom to play around with the visualizations. You can visualize by percentages, by frequencies, and really, if you want to really build some custom scores, we can really help you build that into the data set itself, so that all this reporting is faster, and as you can see, you know, absolutely no lag in whatever you do on the platform. So that's quite the reporting part that I wanted to show you. Let me quickly switch over. To recap of, as a recap of what we have seen today, we've looked at the conventional data management practice, which is storing things in files and then comparing it with a more organized format, and really we have seen how Analyzer transforms this data schema into something which is very easy to report, very easy to search, and very easy to organize. Again, going to the highlights of Analyzer, it is fast, it is scalable, and hence it addresses the problem of volumes. Handling huge volumes is actually a breeze. You can just plug in data sets as they come in. You just need to you don't need to bother about your file storage anymore. Then the data storage and taxonomy creation actually creates these intuitive linkages, which kind of eliminates all the complexity in your survey data. Then the next thing is the search and retrieval capabilities. It is so fast that your reporting turnaround time to produce any ad hoc reports is literally halved. And we have the last but not the least, the do-it-yourself analysis and reporting. So it is instant reporting. You can export this into several file formats. You can literally build these 360-degree view of your data, build dashboards, share it with your clients, and pretty much produce instant reports out of Analyzer. So with this, we reached the end of our session. I hope you found it interesting. We would love to hear from you. You can either write to me for a one-on-one session. We'll be very happy to set up a more in-depth demo for you. So I thank you all again for attending this session. So Andrea, over to you.
Thank you, Prasanth. Well, everyone, we hope you enjoyed this presentation. We'll now begin the brief Q&A session. Again, using the questions pane, simply type in your question and click send. Looks like we have a few in the queue. First one, how long does it take to set up, and how soon can I use the product? Prasanth, over to you.
Yeah. Great. So the product is requires very minimum customization when it comes to setting it up. So it's just that we need to go through your needs in terms of how you want to organize your data sets. Is it by clients? Is it one data warehouse, or is it by some logic you want to kind of create partitions in your data warehouse? So once we study this, it is hardly a couple of weeks that we need to kind of go through your the data sets and then kind of upload them onto the platform. So each data set, when you have a new data set coming in, we typically turn it around in a matter of 2 to 3 hours. We can upload that, prep it up, upload it on the system, and it is available for you to report out. So it is a couple of weeks that we need for the exploration and set up. After that, it depends on the number of data sets, and 2 to 3 hours per data set to set it up.
Okay, great. Does Analyzer support multiple languages?
Yes. I think it is kind of quite built for handling any kind of languages. It depends on the data set. Again, if you have your questions, labels defined in different languages, it can quite handle any language possible.
Okay. This is a two-part question. How scalable is the solution? Is there a limit on data size or number of data sets it can hold?
Right. I think we briefly addressed this during the session. So it is quite scalable. So even if you are in the terabyte club, absolutely no problem. We can create the warehouse to host all your data. It is quite the speed doesn't really go down unless you are kind of searching for a very expansive data set. The speed really kind of stays constant for normal data operations. So it is very scalable, and it can even handle data in terabytes kind of range.
Okay. Do I need to make any changes to my questionnaires or data structure so that I can use Analyzer?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Do I need to make any changes to my questionnaires or data structure so that I can use Analyzer?
No, absolutely not. So it supports all data formats. There is absolutely no need to change the data structure itself. So we support all kinds of data formats like SPSS, ASCII files, Excel, SSS. So there will be some edits that we might need before we upload, which is really removing some any junk characters, any unwanted labels, and then really making the labels user friendly. Apart from that, there are absolutely no changes required to the data set.
What type of technology was used in building Analyzer?
Analyzer, the backend of the Analyzer, the core data structure sits on a SQL server. We use SQL Server 2012 to develop this, and the front end, as you can see, we have used HTML5, which is quite rich, and it is multi-device compatible. So even you can open this website on your tablets or your mobile phones, and it is kind of optimized for the screen size you're viewing. It's kind of dynamically adjusted based on the screen real estate. So yeah, so HTML5 in the front end and SQL Server in the back end.
Okay, great. I think we have time for one more question. Are you going to release any upgrades or revisions to this product, and how soon should we expect them?
Analyzer is something we have been seeing a lot of interest lately. We are investing a lot of time and a lot of the thinking behind producing all the features. So version 2 is slated to release sometime around July second week. So we are quite aggressive in terms of releasing upgrades for Analyzer, and we've been getting a lot of feedback from our existing clients already, and then we have been adding on-the-fly upgrades, and also a major release, as I mentioned, is planned for mid of July.
Okay, great. Well, those are great questions, everyone. This concludes our presentation today. We hope you found the information valuable. Again, if you'd like to receive a copy of this webinar or schedule a one-on-one meeting with Prasanth, you can email prasanth.reddy@crosstab.com or visit us online. Thank you again for listening, and have a wonderful day.